Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coronet Peak. My name is Matt Garker, and I'm your race commentator this morning. Apologies for the delay, but we are ready to get underway in just over 5 minutes' time. We will have our first forerunner on course very shortly. And as you can see, the first 12 starters there for the women's first run, getting underway at 9:45 local time in New Zealand. Romy Ertl, the 18-year-old German, will kick things off from bib number 1. Serena Stabler for Switzerland with number 2. Americans and Brits. Personally, I'm looking forward to seeing Victoria Pala, as well as Christina Bula. An interesting story from Liechtenstein. And then, of course, a lot of you will be tuning in from New Zealand and Australia. Looking forward to seeing those Southern Hemisphere nations in action this morning. Ruby Fullerton will be the first from bib number 7. Then Sophie Mohon. Back to the Americans and Abby Kelleher. And then Wiggins, Hearden, Lennon. Can't wait to get things started. 30 starters in total for the women, and we'll scroll through to the second page for you now. Violet Ledette is a young, bright, up-and-coming French athlete. She wears 13. Will it be lucky for her today? Waldorf is someone I'm very interested to see. Had a couple of World Cup starts a couple of seasons ago. And then we'll go back to Japan with Wakatsuki. A few Americans on this page as well, 16 and 21. Esme Roberts and Madison Viara McCarthy, as well as Josie Sarchik from 19. Then the New Zealanders, Speedy, Pratt, Bentley, run us through to Watterson and Parr. Then Wen Yi Li is a great story from Chinese Taipei. She wears bib number 22 and is in fact 22 years old. Well, we were getting some coverage earlier. Really nice pictures over Lake Wakatipu from the top of the mountain. And then the final few athletes, 25 through to 30 there for you. The New Zealanders, Mackenzie, McCaw and Gooding. Belgium in action. Great to see Belgium here with Louise Luvagi. And then Molly McKinney back with the New Zealanders. And we'll finish with the 16-year-old Australian Lara Kelly. So they are your 30 starters. 9:45 local time. The time as I'm aware that we will be starting. We're just getting the course clearance now, and the forerunners will be with us very shortly. See, there's a little bit of wind. There's always a little bit of wind in Coronet Peak here in Queenstown. It is National Championship Slalom Day. There we go, just to brighten up the picture for you. The cloud has come in and the snow continues to fall. We were expecting a little more snow, potentially up to 20 centimetres of snow coming into Coronet Peak today. We did have a centimetre dusting overnight, which hasn't significantly changed the base, but added a nice touch. So hopefully still a nice icy zip to this course, this first run course set by Angus Rose of New Zealand. Of course, a huge shout out to all the course workers here in Coronet Peak this week. First of two national championship events coming to you live on the Queenstown Alpine Ski Team YouTube channel. We'll get this one off and away very shortly. We hope so. And as I mentioned, Giant Slalom runs tomorrow as well. It has been lightly snowing for the majority of the morning, or certainly since the athletes have been inspecting. And we have got our first forerunner. Alex Benin is on their way out of the course, moving through these first turns. Our first proper look at this course, as I said, set by Angus Rose. Please do just bear with us as we try and navigate these cameras and work out the best possible position for them. Our apologies if the pictures aren't terrific as the foreigners make their way through the course. First runner, as I mentioned, Alex Bonin, zipping through those final turns nice and neatly. That is a nice smooth run from Bonin. As our first forerunner is into the finish. Excellent. So for this first run course set, 51 gates and 50 turning gates in operation. Maybe slightly behind our scheduled start of 9:45. So we're just waiting for clear pictures. The cloud has come in ever so slightly, and that wind has picked up. And the second forerunner well on their way, Miko Agnew, in towards these closing turns now. And that's our second forerunner into the finish. Miko Agnew home dry. Our final forerunner, Axel Bonin, related to Alex, the first of our forerunners today. Should be on their way very shortly, and that is, of course, our finishing camera. The line just to that final blue control gate that you can see there, middle of picture. Slightly lucky that we are getting this race away as close as possible to the readjusted start time. I remember last year we were sitting here waiting around for the wind and snow to pass, and even rain at times. We had all 4 seasons during some of those races, as here comes Axel Bonin into the finish. Neat little finish from our third and final forerunner. So that should mean that very, very soon we are getting underway. Racer 1 in gate. That's what I'm being told. Romy Ertl, the 18-year-old German, in gate and ready to kick off the series of races, this national championship slalom down in Coronet Peak, Queenstown, New Zealand. Great to have your company. Thank you very much for joining me on this Monday morning to start September off for everybody. So Romy Ertl moving very nicely. Had a couple of good results in Mount Hutt, some of the first national championship races there. And that is some electric skiing from Ertl in towards the finish. Absolutely brilliant strength of the young German racer in full view there. Second racer, Serena Stabler, only Swiss starter today, new in the C squad. Third year down here in New Zealand. In across the line. You can see the course workers working rapidly to fix this course up for number 3 coming through now. Mirabel Rashwell, the 17-year-old American. Nice, smooth style from Rashwell. Attended the World Championships as a fan in Saarbrück in February, while a lot of her competitors today were there racing, and she's into the finish, as well as Stabler and Ertl. Number 4, Victoria Palla for Great Britain, 24-year-old, 23rd in that World Championship slalom that Rashwell was attending, and she's in through to the finish as well. And we can join bib number 5, Chisaki Maeda, slightly further up the course. The Japanese athlete, 27-year-old, has started 18 World Cup races in her short career and did go to that World Championship in February as well that I mentioned. Christina Bühler then, 22-year-old, part of the ladies international team from Liechtenstein. Second year here, she graduated from Davos Ski School in Switzerland. My apologies, I've only just been able to get access to the times. So just to run you through, Romy Ertl leading Chizaki Maeda by 1.32 seconds currently. Vicky Palla lies third, 1.37 shy of Ertl's time. And we've just seen Ruby Fullerton of New Zealand go 5 seconds off the pace and into 7th position. This is now Sophie Mulholland, the 24-year-old, first of the Australians. So the leading mark of Romy Ertl, 45.46 as we speak, as here comes Mahon into the finish and into 4th position, 2.39 back from Ertl, out in front at the minute. Ertl, Maeda, Palla, the top three as we speak. On course now is Abby Kelleher, the 18-year-old out of Stratton Mountain. Went 2 podiums in her FIS career. Just lost track of Abby Kelleher there, and confirmation of a DNF. That's unfortunate for bib number 9, Abby Kelleher of the USA, in her first race since the 6th of April. The 18-year-old has skied out there. It's a real shame. And now you're seeing Charlotte Wiggins, the 18-year-old on the New Zealand Alpine Junior FIS team. Started skiing at 3 and began racing at the age of 8. Lovely zip there to Wiggins' turns. Managed a 14th position in the first of the New Zealand Cup races in Mount Hutt. Current New Zealander in the finish is Ruby Fullerton, lying in 8th position. And now with Charlotte Wiggins, she goes into 8th. Wiggins in towards the closing pitch now. Out of Wanaka Snow Sports Club. Went to the Youth Olympic Games in 2024 and managed 30th in the slalom. She goes into 8th position today, 4.87 seconds behind the pacemaker Ertl, 1300th quicker than her compatriot Fullerton. Next up, number 11, Phoebe Hearden, the 19-year-old Australian out of Thredbo, where we had some New Zealand Cup races earlier in the week. She finished first and second in those. Here's Hearden now. Very excitedly aggressive through the middle part of the course. And she slowed down. Oh, it's a DNF. That very unfortunate for Phoebe Hearden. Well, she'll be watching and waiting to see her brother Henry race later in the men's national championship event here from Coronet Peak. but that's confirmation of the DNF for Phoebe Hearden of Australia. Course workers rapidly finding their positions on the piste to tidy it up for the next athlete. Got down as Archie Lennon, another 19-year-old Australian. But I believe that is unfortunately another DNF. And also a DNF for Violade. So that is Sophia Waldorf of Austria skiing into fourth position from bib 14. She's 1.64 back from Ertl and just shy of Pala in third place for Great Britain. Arata Wakatsuki is there at the top of your screen, the 25-year-old from Japan. Started 5 Europa Cups in her career. Wakatsuki does manage to work her way through and navigate the closing turns, and with a sharp finish, skis into 11th position with a time of 51 seconds exactly, just over 5.5 seconds. The wrong side of the clock. Esme Roberts. Here she comes, the American, bib number 16, 18-year-old, out of Team Palisades, Tahoe, California. Lovely arc of the turn there from Esme Roberts into the finish, plus 6.43 seconds back. Has her down in 12th position provisionally. Next racer then is the New Zealander, Alaska Speedy. Unfortunately, we've lost Speedy, the 16-year-old, out of Wanaka. It's a DNF for bib number 17. That's a real shame. Just missed that one. And now, Chloe Pratt here, bib number 18. Another 16-year-old New Zealander. She's out of Team Hut. Only the 6th start of her FIS career, so very new to this kind of environment. Will just be looking to do herself proud here. And Chloe Pratt, just over 7 seconds off the pace into 12th position from bib number 18. Number 19, Josie Sarche. Here she is. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's a shame. We have lost our last 3 athletes, actually. Josie Sarche, April Bentley, and Madison Viara McCarthy, both going out, skiing out with DNFs. Bib 22, Wen Yi Li, 22-year-old, is on her way a little further up the mountain, and that was the latest DNF, just to catch you up to speed, for Madison Vieira McCarthy. Now Wen Yi Li coming through to the finish. Bib 22 here. Third time racing down in New Zealand for her, as she is across the line, just over 9 seconds behind Romy Ertl, still out in front by a long way for Germany. 14th position provisionally for Lee. Isabel Watterson just come into your picture there. And bib number 23, the 16-year-old out of Wanaka Snow Sports. We'll just catch Watterson into the finish. Nice and smooth. And she's moved up into 12th position. Good ski from Isabel Watterson. Next up on course, Zoe Parr. Here she comes. 18-year-old. First year at Canterbury Uni for her, studying geology. And into the finish, Zoe Parr goes. 53.76, the time that she recorded. 15th position for bib 24 and Parr. Paloma Mackenzie here. 16-year-old, another New Zealand representative. Great to see so many in action in their own backyard in Coronet Peak today. Paloma Mackenzie, ooh, a little bit late through those closing turns, but she will be home and dry. Well done to her. 9.55 seconds behind Ertl, provisionally last of the finishers. This is now Jessica McCaw, 15-year-old, 21st and 16th in the New Zealand Cup slaloms held at Mount Hutt a little earlier this month. Of course, very new to this kind of level of racing on this kind of level of course. That is 18th position for McCaw, 12.5 seconds behind Alexia Gooding, the 16-year-old out of Mount Hutt. 7th of his career start for her. Gooding working her way through. Nice and steady. It's a good closeout, actually. Found a little of aggression and able to find the accelerator to finish it off. That is 18th position provisionally for Alexia Gooding. Let's move over to 28. Louise Luvagi, the 18-year-old Belgian, well on her way, 40 seconds into the challenge. So Luvagi, wearing the Belgian colours, into the finish and into 18th position, just over, and I mean just over, 10 seconds behind Romy Ertl for the 18-year-old. Molly McKinney, the penultimate racer of this first women's run of the National Championship Slalom. 17-year-old out of Mount Hutt Ski Club. She was 26th here last year in one of her very first FIS races, and she's back 12 months later with a little bit more experience under her belt, looking to do her and the host nation proud. Bib number 29, Molly McKinney. There she goes. 21 seconds behind Ertl in total. 106.5, the time that McKinney records from bib 29. That is 21st position for her, and we will finish up with the 16-year-old Australian Lara Kelly, who has just kicked out of the start gate. A little bit of a delay to Kelly's start. Just taking her time with the final racer, I believe. Just got a brief timing issue. We're not able to pick up Lara Kelly just for the moment. Believe she's still in the start gate, actually. She hasn't quite pushed out yet, if I am correct. Apologies for this. Just missing out on the chance to see our final racer here. Lara Kelly has now started. I can confirm that. I thought her previous time must have been coming up wrong. She was 7th in thread bowl in the giant slalom. We should see Lara in action tomorrow in the National Championship GS here in Coronet Peak. Moving through the gears nicely. Just 16 years old to get experience against the caliber of racer that Lara Kelly is doing here. Very impressive. Just getting those cameras cleaned up for you. And here comes Kelly now. Should see her pop through those closing turns in just a minute. Having a bit of problem. Oh, it's a DNF. That's a shame for bib number 30, our final racer in this Women's National Championship Slalom. So I can confirm Romy Ertel, with that first time of the day, bib number 1 has led all the way through this first run. 45.46 the time she has posted. An incredible 1.32 seconds ahead of Japan's Chisaki Maeda, but just 500ths behind the Japanese athlete is Great Britain's women's slalom number 1, Victoria Pala, flying the flag. And then a great ski from a little later in the field, 14 for Austria, Sophia Waldauf, managing to get herself in there, 1.64, certainly within touching distance of that podium, with the second run coming to you shortly. But before then, we will, of course, have the men's first run from this National Championship Slalom event. And just to round it up, Sophie Mahon sits in 5th position. Mirabel Rackwell for America in 6th. Then Stabler, Buhler, Wiggins and Fullerton rounding out the top 10 with 5 seconds splitting the top 10, just showing you the strength and quality of those athletes at the top of the results sheet from this first run. My apologies for being a little bit slow. Quite difficult to make out the picture, and I did lose the live timing at one point towards the start. But as there was an hour delay, I believe the men should be underway with their second run in about 2 minutes' time. That snow falling very heavily now, isn't it? My picture's just cleared up, and the course workers have got on there rapidly to try and shovel away the fresh snow that continues to fall this morning. And there is our First run start list for the men's event. So let's switch over there now, shall we? Cooper Puckett starting things off for the Americans. Shin with a good early start for Korea. One to watch, Erik Solberg, probably one of the favourites coming into this race. Will wear bib number 3 for Norway. And then we've got a couple of Americans, a couple more Americans, Buzek and Seymour. Jet Seymour in particular shows the strength of the American team that they have sent to these races down in New Zealand. So I've just had news coming through that the second run for both the men and the women will be pushed back 30 minutes in hopes to beat the weather. As you can see, that the snow is continuing to fall and it's very difficult for us to make it out. It's very difficult for the course workers to get it cleared up. But just to run you through these athletes you can see on screen now, McAdam, the first of the Australians, the first of the Austrians, will then be Christoph Meisel. His father, Balthasar Meisel, has put this first run pattern of turns together. Then Balin Uri for Hungary will go back to the Americans with Cam Palmquist. And then Theodore Braken, certainly one to watch, another from Team Norway. He's the World Junior Champion. Then one of the breakthrough stars of last season on the World Cup Tour, Tuomas Lane for Estonia. The top 12 bib numbers rounded up here by Luke Herrmann of Switzerland. Next page then. We continue with Switzerland and Florian Kuntz. Go back to Austria with Gasser. Koyama's in there. Camden and Yevin, the Palmquist brothers, both competing today. Jacob Dilling is the newest member of Team Global Racing with bib number 17. Katayama, Hierden, Petanko, great to see Croatia there on the start list. Then Conor Leggett, another of the Aussies. Bowers, another of the Americans. W. Hergos for Korea, bib 23. And Alec Jackson will be the first of the Kiwis in this men's slalom with bib 24. On to our next group. And top of that group is bib 25, River Radamus, the giant slalom expert. I'm sat in a hot tub in Queenstown yesterday preparing for today's slalom competition way back in 25 because his slalom points aren't quite to the level that his GS is. And he won't actually be competing tomorrow, but he will here in the slalom. So great to see one of the big World Cuppers in action. Jasicek for Poland, Aragoni for Switzerland, Semerdziev of Bulgaria, Ainsley, and then Toby Jackson, the younger brother of Alec. They go with bib 24 and 30 and actually work closely with the course setter Balthasar Meisel. Let's see if that has any benefits for the Jackson brothers. Then Fassler of Switzerland as we head beyond the 30. Michael Mutton and Woods there, 32, 34 and 36, the bibs for the New Zealanders. Charles Welch and Lucas Meyer, the two in between them. So yeah, it's shaping up to be an exciting men's national championship race. 59 racers in total, just to inform you. So the next page, Christian Borgneis is there for Denmark, another global racing member, giving slalom a bash here. Then 3 New Zealanders back-to-back, England, Bain and McCaw to take us to bib 40. A couple of Germans in this group as well. Jocelyn Mubayed, 41. Louis Ertl, 44. And yes, he is the brother of the leader of the first run of the women's event, Romy. In between them, Canada, Keswick McGill, and Belgium goal with Yul van Steenkiste. Turkey here, great to see them competing with Kerem Haimana. New Zealand showing great strength in depth and strength in their youth with Flynn O'Reilly, as are the Aussies with Max Kelly, Lara Kelly's brother, 19-year-old, older brother, that is, and then Sebastian Tuma, the 18-year-old from the Czech Republic. Could be shaping up to be a good race, and lots of names to watch further down this start list as well, especially if you're watching with an eye on the New Zealanders. "49 is Chang for Taipei. Then the New Zealanders, 4 back-to-back here, Ferguson, Saunders, Chesterman and Orlovsky. Kim then goes for Korea, Indigo Liu of Canada, Andrei Jurkarov, yet another Team Global Racing representative, bib 56 for Lithuania. Another Chinese Taipei athlete there in Sean Shuao-Chi Chuang. Mongolia, absolutely brilliant to see. A unbelievable plethora of nations in action. Bib 58 for Biamba Tungalang Saiken. And we'll finish off with bib number 59 of Canada, Adrian Cote. The 15-year-old. In fact, the last two there, 58 and 59, both 15, turning 16 later this year on their full FIS debut. So welcome to the FIS Tour, Biamba and Adrian. So still just waiting for our pictures to come through nice and clearly. Forerunner coming shortly. Forerunner coming shortly is what I hear. Just to give a shout out to our 3 forerunners from this men's event. Of course, they deserve a shout out, so I'm going to give them what they deserve. From the men's event, Trevor Palmquist will be the first forerunner. Chung In Woo will be the second. And the third is Ala Malarchik for the men's slalom. There's a bit of action for us. Course workers, they deserve a massive shout out. Worked tirelessly since the early hours of this morning to get that first race underway, and an entertaining race it was with Romy Ertl out in front from the women's side of things. She's got a healthy advantage to carry into the second run. And our men's forerunner, I believe that's the first one, on their way here. And that is, of course, Trevor Palmquist, forerunner number 1. Camera's been very well cleared there. I think that's Damien putting in the work to make this picture as clear as possible. And thank you very much for sticking with us. It's been difficult to tell exactly what is going on out there at times, but second forerunner now on their way, and that is Chung In Woo making his way down the course now. There he is. Snow continues to fall. I think it's fallen even more now, in fact. So it could be a bit of a powder day if you're out and about in Coronet Peak, away from the racing. Not, well, far from ideal racing conditions. However, nice it may be if you're out on the slope yourself. So we'll just wait for that third and final forerunner to make it that this course is in fact possible to run. Very difficult to tell just how much snow has built up. Well, there's 4 main local ski areas in the area of Queenstown, Coronet Peak being the most popular and probably most well-known one. You've also got Cardrona, the Remarkables, and Treble Cone. Just got a message coming through now that the snow and the changing weather conditions is actually causing issues with the finishing beam of the line. So as it was slightly earlier, the problem is the timing. So we do have to apologise, and unfortunately we can only wait. And I believe that this snow was forecast, as I mentioned, from the top of the show, around 20 centimetres was expected over the course of this Monday morning, of this Monday, 1st of September. Great to kick the racing off, of course, here. And that third forerunner, I think I can just make out Ala Malarchik. So we'll have to see if this race is going to get underway very shortly. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed that we can get this men's event started. Give that camera a good wipe. We are currently on hold as the snow keeps triggering the finish. There is that much that our finishing beam thinks that someone is coming through the finish line, which, as comical as it may sound, is a serious problem here. Because if we can't get that finish to work properly, then there's of course going to be issues when we are getting to the nitty-gritty and down to business. A lot of World Cuppers are actually in action here in this men's race, and it's great to see so many of them out. You look at Jetsimo, Braken, Lane. And of course, if you go all the way down to 25 in River Radamus, you've got someone who's had a World Cup podium over in giant slalom a couple of seasons back. Well, I read something this week that the peak has around 2 meters of snowfall annually. I think a fair bit of it is coming right now. The camera operators are working seriously hard, almost as hard as the course workers, to keep that picture as clear as physically possible for everybody at home, me included. We kind of have to hope that snow does ease up for us, so we can get this one away and that the timing doesn't continue to play up. Just a reminder that Romy Ertl is out in front in the women's race. Just a reminder of that. It is a 1.32 first run lead for Romy Ertl over Shizaki Maeda, with both Vicky Palla and Sofia Waldorf well within touch of the podium. And I'm sure the Australian and Austrian, respectively, will be looking to go full attack mode in the second run and close that gap on the Japanese and British racers. It isn't extremely cold temperatures. Just before we started, it was just above 1 degree Celsius. And so that snow is really sticky. And of course, that causes problems with the snow sticking to the cameras, as well as the snow sticking to the timing beam at the bottom, which is causing the hold up here. And our sincere apologies. And once again, just like to express my thanks for sticking around. Camera team just trying to get into the best possible position. There you go. Now you can see the powder and the buildup of snow. A couple, maybe even a few centimeters deep already. Well, last season in the New Zealand National Championship slalom, it was Christoph Meisel who came through with the victory for Austria. And it was Italy's Lucrezia Lorenzi, not in action here this year, who came through to win on the women's side. And it's been some time going back since Germany won the women's event. Romy Ertl will look to change that this afternoon. And with the first run lead that she's built up this morning, it looks like that is very possible indeed. So the finish, I believe, is cleared. 1 minute till our first man will be on his way. Number 1 is now on course, and that is Cooper Puckett. The 22-year-old American. He's a 5th generation Coloradan. I believe his ancestors were some of Aspen's earliest settlers. Fun fact there for you about Cooper Puckett. Out of Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Had a couple of World Cup starts, both in Austrian giant slalom events, but here he is flying the American flag in the New Zealand National Championship Slalom as our men's event gets underway here in Coronet Peak. So 46.44 is the early pace set by Cooper Puckett to beat. We've currently just got one camera working, but it is being cleaned. Still coming down with the snow badly. And Jeongwoo Shin, or Shin Jeongwoo for South Korea, 25 years old. Got a 42nd place in the 2025 World Championship Giant Slalom event from Saalbach in February. He is now 30 seconds into his first run challenge. First race here some 10 years ago when he was just 16 years old. It's going to come through. It is not going to be first position for Jeongwoo Shin. In fact, he's not able to make the finish, unfortunately. A DNF for bib number 2, Shin Jeongwoo. And now we are well underway with Erik Heistad Solborg for Norway, the 22-year-old. Up to 20 World Cup starts now. Finished 23rd in Levy to start his World Cup campaign in 2025-26, but his personal best stands at 18th in the classic Kitzbühel Slalom from 2024 on the Ganslern racecourse. He's in towards the finish now, and he's just ahead. 700ths ahead of Puckett. He's pipped the American to the early lead, 46.37, the new pace to beat as we move to bib 4. That is another American in Stanley Busek, looking to give them the lead immediately back. Bib number 4, 20 years old, out of Team Summit, Colorado. Busek moving through the gears, moving in towards the finish now. And he registers a time of 47.22, 8.5 tenths off the pace of our leader Solberg. So the Norwegian holds on to the lead for now as we move to another one of the big-time American Slalom World Cuppers and Jet Seymour. 26-year-old, also out of Steamboat Springs, Colorado. The Colorado flag's being flying high now. 7th twice in Mount Hutt. Well, as you will realise at home, the snow is seriously sticking to our cameras just to confirm that Busek has gone into 3rd position. A second behind Solberg, and Hugh McAdam, big number 6 for Australia, is well on his way. As with the situation with the snow sticking so firmly to our cameras, you'll be able to realise that we aren't able to bring you any pictures live. So there is a chance we may have to wrap this up with the situation with the cameras. Thank you very much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed the first run of that women's event, and if we get it back up and running, we may well have to see. If not, we will try again tomorrow with the Giant Slalom National Championship event here in Coronet Peak. So thank you very much for your company for now, and hopefully we will ski you soon. See you later.